Now, first story. Some haulage operators are kicking against the new axle load regulations, which seeks to reduce the weight of load trucks carry. Haulers of sand and stone complain the new directive is worrying, particularly because they were not given enough time to structure their operations and prepare their clients before the directive took effect.
The Ghana Highway Authority began implementing the new axle load regulation on January 1, 2014. A statement from the authority, however, gives a grace period of up to January 31, 2014 for the haulage operators to comply with the new regulation. But the 30-day window still appears to be too short for the sand and stone haulers, who say they need more time to educate their clients on the change as well as structure their operations accordingly. Their arguments are influenced by the different types of load they carry, which ranges from rough and smooth sand to black soil and various sizes of stones. This, they say, makes it difficult to calculate the weight of each of the various loads per trip, considering the limited time frame.
Our material is not backed like ordinary commodities, so it is hard to determine. Let's assume if I load sand, a stone to the halfway, that's what the customer will take. What about sand, which means it will be quarter way? What about 040, which is the heaviest? Where will it end? We believe our clients won't agree. So we are pleading with authorities. They should hold on, give us briefing space, at least 2 years. We sit down, they educate the public. Then the public gets to know that maybe from 2 years' time or a year's time, this truck will never deliver a sand to you full, but it will be halfway.
A two-axle truck, which could previously carry weights of up to 21,000 kilograms, has seen a reduction to 18,000 kilograms. Weights for 3- and 4-axle trucks have equally been reduced. The reduction in axle load means the load per trip has also been reduced.
These are the axles. That's the first, second, third. They are the tires. So this truck is what the minister is quoting. That's the second category. That this truck have to load 27,000 kg, including, which means the sand and then the truck weight should be 27. And this truck is above 12,000 kg, almost about 14,000 kg. Now take away 14,000, that is the empty truck, from the 27, remaining about 13,000 kg. Now 13,000 kg, you are talking of 9 cubic capacity, which this bucket is more than 9 cubic. They should call on importers, educate them so that when they go in to buy trucks, they know the type of trucks they have to bring into the country.
Anthony Agbemehia tells Joy News several proposals to the Ghana Highway Authority detailing their challenges and suggesting better ways to handle the situation have fallen on deaf ears.
The Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing says it will support the new policy of the Ghana Water Company Limited to introduce prepaid meters for water consumption by commercial and industrial customers. According to the ministry, the policy has become necessary because of the willful non-payment of necessary charges by a number of large-scale users of water, including some producers of sachet water. In a statement issued by the ministry, signed by the minister, it explained the efficient monitoring of water usage by commercial and industrial customers, followed by timely charging and payment, will enhance the capacity of the Ghana Water Company to produce and also supply safe potable water to the Ghanaian public in a more sustainable and affordable manner.
The Attorney General's Department says it has reached an agreement with the companies owing the state some 55 million cedis in controversial loans to pay the monies by close of the year. The decision is said to have been reached after a consultative meeting with the companies who have been indicted in investigating into contracts and engagement entered by the Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurial Agency, GIDA. The companies, including RLG Communications, Azuntaba, Craft Pro, are said to have agreed to pay the monies in 4 quarterly installments.
Public Relations Officer at the Attorney General's Department, also Ansah, indicated that failure by the indicted companies to honor their part of the deal will see them being processed for court.
We wrote to the companies involved, which are to refund some monies to government, and an arrangement, they came to us and an arrangement has been made for the monies to be paid in 4 installments. That will be in the first quarter, that's by March, we'll be receiving the first payment, and then subsequently in 4 months. So by the 4th quarter of the year, we would have received all the money.
Meanwhile, work on the Ghana Youth Employment and Entrepreneurial Development Agency, JIDA reports, is far advanced and will soon be sent to court. According to the PRO, the filing of the docket in court had delayed following efforts by the AG's department to undertake a thorough investigation into the matter to enable them gather impeccable evidence when the case is finally called in court.
You know, it is not just, you see, most of us, our concentration is just on what is happening in Accra. But it wasn't only in Accra. There are places in the regions and the districts that some dummy accounts were created and all sorts of things were going on in the region. So it's not just here. So it's a large scale and a full scale investigations that is going on to gather all the needed evidence that we can take to court. Yes, you will tell me that a report has been done and all that. A report cannot be taken to court. We need the evidence to take to court. That is what we are going to present to the court and all that. So we are working, and the Attorney General is committed. She wants to get everything in place so that when we are going to court, we are going to court in full force.
He does appeal to the public, particularly the media, to be patient with the AG's department since it was committed to protecting the interests of the nation.
About 143 teachers in the Wa municipality are threatening to lay down their tools should government fail to pay them before the end of this month. The names of the affected teachers have for the past 2 months been removed from government payroll, part of efforts to rid the Ghana Education Service of ghost names. Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
The affected teachers Monday morning besieged the forecourt of the Wa Municipal Directorate of the Ghana Education Service, after which they sought audience with the Municipal Director of Education, Suleiman Al-Hassan. According to the director, he had worked on their salaries and was surprised the teachers had not been paid. But the aggrieved teachers were not satisfied with his response. They demanded the Municipal Director of Education has a telephone conversation with Wan Inkum, who is the Director of the Integrated Personal Payroll Database, commonly referred to as IPPD, in their presence.
There's one municipal online with a different line. I'm trying the other line and it was misbehaving. Yes. My teachers are on me. Those whose salaries were embargoed in December. We processed their things and sent over. They said they haven't heard anything. They have been giving messages from controller indicating 00 payments.
Suleiman Al-Hassan, however, insisted their names had been added to IPPD list, but it had to be approved by the Controller and Accountant General's office. The aggrieved teachers later held a press conference on the matter. Suleiman Isahaku is their spokesperson.
I cannot be sitting here reading this press statement and be called a ghost. You go to my school and ask my people whether I teach or we don't teach. Then you call us ghost names. And to take out these names, so we suspect that Mr. Inkum, who had come here sometime last year, one day to do an exercise, that we suspect that this is as a result of the exercise. And we had indications that other regions had been taking 3 days for those same exercises, and or more than that.
They warned that they will lay down their tools if they are not paid by the end of the month.
Teacher Trainee College at the Baga of Education and the Tamale College of Education are appealing to government to, as a matter of agency, find solutions to the strike by the teachers so they can return to the classrooms. A visit by the Joy News to the 2 teacher training colleges on Monday saw empty lecture halls with some students studying on their own. Some of the students who spoke to Joy News said the strike by the lecturers mean they will not be able to write their end of semester exam due to the next week.
In other news, the Ministry of Health is on course to scale up the phased implementation of the NHS Capitation provider payment mechanism, which started as a pilot in the Ashanti region. Capitation is a provider payment method in which providers are paid, typically in advance, a predetermined fixed rate to provide a defined set of services for each individual enrolled with a provider for a fixed period of time. The amount paid to the provider is irrespective of whether that person would seek care or not during the designated period. Chief Executive of the National Health Insurance Authority, Sylvester Mensah, said the two other payment systems the NHIA was using, that is fee for service and the Ghana diagnosis-related groupings, have had various degrees of challenges, and the introduction of capitation as an additional payment mechanism was a way to inject more efficiency into claims payment regime of the National Health Insurance Authority.
The president of the Association of Ghana Industries, James Asare J, says the association wants to establish a bank to help extend cheap credit to industries and small businesses. The association last year announced that it is working to establish a commercial bank to support their members. However, some analysts have questioned AGI's move, citing challenges in getting the required capital to set up the bank. But the new AGI president tells Joy Business, looking at the challenges facing industries, this might be the way to go. He explained that the underlying principle to commercial banks is to make profit. They therefore charge high interest on loans, thereby making local companies less competitive. Adding the AGI intentions is to grow local businesses to become global giants in the future. Therefore, it is not a question of whether it is a prudent idea, but it's a matter of necessity. He hopes the AGI will increase funds from bilateral and multilateral organizations ready to support it. With the determination and support of the Ministry of Trade and the Bank of Ghana, AGI would be able to raise 100 million Ghana cedis seed capital for the take-off of the bank. He said the bank joins other associations like the Ghana Mine Workers Union, National Association Teachers that are currently working to establish a bank.
We turn our attention to the presidency, where President John Dramani Mahama has appointed former BBC presenter Ben Doche Malo, Senior Communications Advisor and Head of Communications at the Presidency. A statement from the Ministry of Information said Ben Doche Malo joins the Presidency with a wealth of experience, expertise and accomplishments from the BBC and the United Nations, where he has been serving as the Chief Executive Producer of UN Radio. Ben Doche Malo was also Communications Advisor to the President of the 66th session of the UN General Assembly. Among other duties at the UN, he served for 2 years from September 2006 with the UN mission in Liberia as spokesperson and Deputy Chief of Information or we should say Deputy Chief of Public Information. Well, he also served for a year as an associate spokesperson for the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Before joining the UN in January 2003, Ben Doche Malo distinguished himself as a vibrant and popular voice across many programs on the BBC World Service, where he rose to the position of Deputy Editor of Focus on Africa.
Education and access to good roads top the list of priorities for the chiefs and people of Manpugu traditional area in the northern region. They tell Joy News they expect other outstanding issues affecting them to be dealt with as soon as possible. The residents made the appeal during a visit by President Mahama at the weekend. Giftiando Apia has more.
Hundreds of town folks and people from its environs thronged to the venue to hear what the president had for them. Most of them school children and nursing trainees. The concentrated crowd in the town's limited space almost caused the schoolgirl to pass out. They all had expectations. Yidana Ramatu and her friend trod from Gambaga to Nalarugu when they heard about the president's visit, With many expectations for him, she singles out teacher trainee allowances which have been scrapped by government.
The allowance of training college students, I want him to bring it back because it is affecting so many students. So some of the students normally borrow money to go to school, expecting the allowance to come so that they will pay back.
Some of the students walk from many distance to the district level to attend school. So we would like the president to build more schools for the district.
Nursing trainee Amasa Matthew and his colleagues insist on an exam center in Nalerugu and the allowances to be paid in good time.
We are happy to receive him and we are expecting him to address our problems. When you people were coming, you can see our road, and we don't want to be traveling to Tamale to sit for our licensure. So we are begging on him to bring the center here. Yes.
The government should try and give us our allowance. That is what we used to pay our school fees.
Their concerns were mirrored in a list of requests by the Nairi of Mamprugu traditional area, now Bohagu Abdullahi Sheriga.
That the Nalerugu Health Assistant Training School has been upgraded to become the Nalerugu Nursing and Health Assistance Training College. We, however, appeal to you to provide the school with classrooms facilities that will encourage teaching and learning. Another request, Your Excellency, which is Bintri Nalerugu Road, which when constructed will open up the area for farmers to cut their farm produce to the market center. The District Assembly and the people of Mamprugu have established a community college of education at Gambaga. It is my humble appeal that this college is absorbed to the mainstream. And finally, consider upgrading the Bintri Health Post to a health center status.
They had some answers, but not all their concerns were up for discussion.
I haven't forgotten the Walwale Gambaga Nalerugu road. We're going to continue it to Bunkpurgu and continue it to Nakwanduri so that it will link up with the Eastern Corridor. We have given accreditation to the Gambaga College of Education, and I have directed the Ministry of Education to absorb it into the government system. We're expecting that this year we'll be able to start work on at least 100 community-day secondary schools. And I'm sure that several of those community-day secondary schools will be sited in the Mamprugu traditional area.
Although they walked away in excitement, they held on to their expectations of better days ahead for their town, where the bad state of roads will cease to affect their farming business and quality education will spread out wide, so that someday they can be at par with any developed community. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Nalerugu, Northern Region.
Well, we'll move to the very tragic story the nation has been affected with, and the family of the late BBC World TV presenter Komla Afekedumo has revealed his body will be flown home to Ghana as soon as necessary formalities have been completed both in the UK and in Ghana. A statement on a special website created in honor of the late Ace broadcaster stated that once the family takes a decision on when the body will arrive, arrangements associated with receiving the body will be duly communicated. Books of condolence are also open at the following locations and in the family home in Accra from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Joy FM studios from 24 hours from yesterday, and at the International Press Center from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day. Well, so we now have to give you a recap of our top stories for the morning. RLG Communications, Asuntaba and Craft Pro agreed to refund 55 million Ghana cedis JIDA monies in 4 quarterly installments.
NHS Capitation provide a payment mechanism to be scaled up.
Haulage operators are kicking against new axle load regulation.
And the remains of Komla Dumor to be flown home.
Well, that's very tragic news though. We're bringing you sports. It's up next. Well, the late Komla Dumo, apart from his death in many areas, had a sporting twist to his life. The one-time GJ Journalist of the Year was to lead the BBC's coverage of the Brazil 2014 World Cup, but fate had it otherwise. Komla made time out of his very demanding schedules to pay visits to the Stamford Bridge to watch matches of Chelsea. Well, one of his biggest legacies for local sports was also shooting a certain Brahma Kamoko, also known as Bukum Banku, to the limelight after an interview on this platform over a decade ago. He demonstrated his love for the Black Stars at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa while presenting for the BBC.
It's a lovely Sunday afternoon here in Pretoria. The African campaign for the World Cup has pretty much begun. It started yesterday with Nigeria going down against Argentina 1-0. Today it is the opportunity for the Black Stars of Ghana to redeem the hopes of Africa. I'm here with a number of Ghanaian fans who want to talk about their expectations for the game. What's your name, sir?
My name is Grant.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to beat them 2-1. They're going to take care of Australia and then Germany later. Sorry to Nigeria. They should just pick themselves up and win their next game. Africa, we're keeping this World Cup.
Is this an African World Cup? Is this
an African World Cup? It's an African World Cup. Anan takes the ball. He gives it left to the right. Quincy picks it up, crosses it. John scores. 25 minutes. 25 minutes.
Okay, guys. All right, so this is what the fans are expecting in just a few hours. Kickoff is just a few hours from now. And you know what? I do work for the BBC, but it's time for me to show my true colors. If I can hand this over.
Komla Dumo in that very notable piece to camera there. Well, meanwhile, the Ghana Football Association has expressed deep shock at the sudden passing of the boss player. Sani Dara is a spokesperson for the Football Association.
Yes, the Ghana Football Association is deeply saddened by the passing of Komla Dumo. Komla was a great friend of Ghana football. He was a good supporter of the Black Stars. And for many a times, he could not hide his loyalties. I remember a clip of him at the World Cup in 2010. He had to take off his shirt and jacket, and underneath was the Black Stars jersey. So it tells you that he was a patriot. He sold Ghana in its pristine, pure quality in a way that the Black Stars sell the country. And we want to use this opportunity to send our utmost condolences to his family, his wife and his kids, his friends, and may the Lord keep him. We've lost a great man, and we hope that the good things that Komla was able to do, there will be millions and millions of Ghanaians to follow in his footsteps.
Meanwhile, Sports Minister Free Ankra has revealed to the Joy Sports team government will be unable to send large numbers of supporters to the World Cup in Brazil due to high cost implications. Initially, comments by the ministry suggested government was ready to sponsor quite a sizable number of supporters to the soccer fiesta, despite minimum $27,000 per fan cost breakdown. However, the sports minister says government, upon reflection, has decided otherwise and has begun plans to ensure majority of supporters in Ghana enjoy the World Cup while at home.
Realistically, people should just accept the fact that there's a limit as to the number of people that can be supported either through a corporate entity or through the government to go to Brazil. And therefore, in anticipation of that, part of our planning and preparation, what we are trying to put in place is that irrespective of what few numbers we can send to Brazil, we want to do a Brazil in Ghana, where in each region, and like we did when we were playing Zambia and Egypt, we set up huge screens, but this one, we're going to make it bigger and better. We'll have, like if Ghana has a match on a particular day, we'll have a series of entertainment and live feed from Brazil and and all that, and then people would feel the Brazil experience. So you don't need to go to Brazil to feel the experience, because if hypothetically it costs $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 to go to Brazil, you ask yourself as a Ghanaian, if you had that money or half of that money.